Welcome to the CEO podcast. This month we are brought to you by HIHIT, the Hospitality Industry Health Insurance Trust is designed to give small employers access to affordable medical plans. I'm Lisa from the Communications Department, and today we are here with Washington Hospitality Association President and CEO Anthony Anton, Senior Director of Communications and Technology Lex Nepomuceno, and from Table Group, our special guest and a principal consultant, Chris Jensen. And if you have any questions today, please be sure to type them into the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we can answer that live on air. And with that, I will hand this over to Lex and Anthony.
Lisa, thank you so much. And again, Lisa will remind people a couple of times. If you have questions, put them in the chat. As we know from early in my podcast, I know all of you have my cell phone, or many of you do, but when you're texting me questions in the middle of the podcast, I can't read and talk. Apparently I have a dysfunction. So I'm gonna lean on everyone putting their questions there. If you have a question later that you come up with, again, the email, Lisa, one more time, is podcast. Oh, you're on mute there?
Sorry, podcast@wahospitality.org.
Fantastic. And I love that HIHIT is our sponsor again, because the number of healthcare quotes and inquiries and signups we're getting to our healthcare program might be my high in my 15 years. I think it's really being a competitive edge for what people are looking for. So thanks to HIHIT for sponsoring today. I'm feeling like if you're a Seahawks fan and you're like in a restaurant and there's like a Seahawk across the room and you're like, oh my God, there's a Seahawk here. Tells you kind of what a guy I am. I'm feeling a little that way, that we have a member of the Seattle Seahawks of the leadership consulting world in the Table Group, and Chris Jensen. So I feel a little bit fanboyish that I hope I don't say anything stupid and we do it right, because if you don't know me well or listen to my podcasts, I've got 3 go-to books in my leadership style. And one of them is 5 Functions of a Team from Patrick Lencioni. And then he's gone on, if you didn't know, and I've got them all, to write 12 great leadership books. And they're really passionate about helping create great culture and great workplace environment. And I listen to their podcasts and things quite a bit. And you had asked, we need to talk more about culture. And so I couldn't think of a better invite to invite Chris here today to do that. And so we will get to that in a minute. Before we do, I want to do our quick little update on what's happened in the past month and what we expect moving forward. And I'll do it in each of our 4 areas that we support. One, I'm going to start talking about programs. I'm really happy that a few of our programs are really hitting highs on savings. And particularly this month, our insurance program saved operators over $40,000 in several quotes. And so, again, all of our programs are grouped together by you, for you, to run for you. And that our insurance program is starting to see that kind of savings and that kind of interest, I think, is a positive thing for us moving forward. Lex, in the communication world and being our members' primary source of information, what's your one highlight of the past month you want to make sure that operators are aware of?
Well, we have a back to work and other workforce related toolkits available in our coronavirus resource guide. So if you go there at hub.wahospitality.org, you'll see that the team assembled a number of resources related to helping get workers, helping get you and your business workers again, and as well as for workers who are looking at getting back in the industry, and resources for them. So that has been a big focus. As you know, labor shortage has been such a big key, but a big equation that's part of the labor shortage is also keeping employees. And I think that's a lot what we're talking about today. We also have a number of resources related to the eviction moratorium ending. We had our legal team put together some guidance and some toolkits. You'll also be able to find that at the hub.wahospitality.org. If you have further questions, feel free to email us at podcast@wahospitality.org. But a lot of resources up there as people are getting back in business.
And that first toolkit you mentioned, Lex, I see is in the chat room if people are wanting to find out what that is, right? So the
Yes.
back to work toolkit is right there.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk about some of the other areas. That's comm and program or information and programs. Talk a little bit on the government affairs side for a minute. We are working really hard on trying to get the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, aka the RRF, and the Save Hotel Jobs Act passed in Congress. We are really close to getting 100% of the Washington delegation signed up for either the Republican or the Democratic version. I don't care which, as long as we're 100% signed up, it gets into the final conversation in the final vehicle. That is going to be one of our obsessions between now and the first few weeks of September, is doing everything we can to make sure the Washington delegation is there. The way that the winners and losers have been picked, and the way that some people got granted funds and then got them yanked away, it's just not right. I think we all recognize that, and Congress needs to help us backfill this program so everyone who applied will get funded. That is our hope. It will be a challenge, and we can only really control Washington, and we're going to lean a lot on our partners at the National Restaurant Association and the American Hotel Lodging Association to get the other 49 states in line. But I hope to announce next month or soon in the next week or so that 100% of our delegation is in favor of the things that we need, and that will help the overall cause move forward. I think the other thing, and this will be the big cloud for the rest of the month, is the Delta variant and where the Delta variant is going. A lot of you are texting me, asking questions, asking each other questions. Are we going to close again? What's going to happen? I'll give you the latest from our conversations with the governor's office this week. The governor's office is feeling really confident about our vaccination rate. We have one of the highest in the countries. And that when we had those, I think, unfair restrictions and closures earlier in the year, they believe they had to do it because people had no choices and they had no solution. And the governor's office is feeling pretty strong that there is a solve for the Delta variant, and that's to get vaccinated. The few people who are getting breakthrough are not getting that sick, and they're not intending to do another big round of regulations or rollbacks at this time. So there may be some counties that decide to do something on their own because of their individual politics or their individual hospital bed situation, but we're not anticipating anything happening on a statewide level for the rest of August. Obviously, that could change at any time with new information, but that's the best information we have as of August 4th at 10 o'clock. And as you know, that's about as good as we know things these days. We are seeing a lot of you and a lot of other businesses start to require vaccinations for your employees, and some considering doing it for their guests. That's going to be a community by community and operator by operator decision. And we'll try to make sure you have the information and resources on how to do those things accurately if you want to, or correctly if you want to, or those who want to bring back masks. And so we'll have the resources so you can have the understanding of the best decision that's to make for you. Lex, I'm trying to keep this short because I'm so excited about our guest. Is there anything that I missed?
I think you covered everything, Anthony.
Okay.